We're very proud to have here with us virtually Zohar Wagner in this recorded conversation. Zohar, thank you so much for this film. Um, Tell me a little bit of what made you interested in making a film about this topic. Where did it start for you?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to remind everybody that I made the film. The film came out 2022. So I started working on the film around 2019. And that means that the atmosphere in Israel was a little bit different. And unfortunately, speaking about the reasons that I wanted to make the film, nowadays they have different meaning, different, the context is different. So, and it's kind of the first time that I'm talking about the film Savoy after October 7th. So it's still very relevant, the film, but I must say that at 2019, I was very naive in a way that I was still hoping there is going to be peace in the Middle East. And I was still dreaming that in my lifespan, I would be able to travel to Lebanon and Syria and like take the car, like you, like not you in America, you in America also, but in Europe, people just take the car and they cross borders. So that was my hope. And I was also thinking that it's me as, like a citizen of the Middle East, I should learn Arabic, and that learning Arabic can, make a peace more reachable, because if we all Israelis that live here in the Middle East know Arabic and we can communicate with our neighbors, and because the language is a lot in order to come close to a person that you want to live with. So I was thinking, yeah, I have to learn Arabic. It's very important. There are so many Arabs here and across the borders. So I started learning Arabic, and that was few years before I was working on another film of mine, 21 Days Inside, and it's about a Bedouin woman that was suspected for murdering her own son. It was not true, but anyway, she was in prison, and I received all the recordings of her investigations, and they were in Arabic.
Mhm.
So that was the beginning of me searching to know better Arabic, also for my films and for the reasons I told before. And I started learning Arabic, and then I started, like bragging in front of my friends. And I was saying, if worst case scenario, it's going to be a war here, then I'm going to have a very important tool that I will know Arabic and I can, work my way around. And it sounds crazy because that the few people in October 7 that survive, a lot of them survived because they knew Arabic. I'm not saying that, there were so many stories, but there are definitely some surviving stories due to the notion of the language of Arabic. So anyway, I was thinking about there is going to be peace, and if there's going to be war, and I will know Arabic. And then a friend of mine told me it's like Kochava Levi that in 1975, she saved her life due to the knowledge of Arabic. And that's actually what happened. Of course, she saved her life because she was very smart and very intuitive, and she understood also the power dynamics between men and women in Arab societies. There is a scene that she's like really bending and like, asking the terrorist, like she's really kneeling on the floor, and she's a Sephardic Jew. And that brings me to another theme of the film, that Kochava, we have Ashkenazic Jews and Sephardic Jews, and I am Ashkenazic, and for me learning Arabic is like really, I need to go and learn Arabic. It's not that my parents speak Arabic or, my grandparents. It's not from my surrounding, but the Sephardic Jews who came from Arab countries, so in the 70s, their kids, for example, they heard Arabic and they listened to Arabic music at home because their parents were listening to Arabic music. And she was a girl like that. And at that time also, Abu Mazen, he wrote one of his articles. He wrote, he was back then in the PLO movement and until today. And he wrote that the hope for peace in the Middle East, the peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis would come from the Sephardic Jews, because the Sephardic Jews, they know Arabic. They grew up in Arabic countries. They know the manners. They know, they share the same culture. Finally, it's completely not what happened, because it's known that Sephardic Jews are more, the right-wing voters. But anyway, so Kochava Levi was a woman that she was a Sephardic Jew, and in the 70s, the Sephardic were not in the they were not in the, government and all the officials positions, they were not in the higher ranks of the army or of the government or of all the institutes, public institutes. And they were kind of treated as inferiors, like they were the Black Jews. So as a Black Jew to a Palestinian, who feels that was disregarded by the Zionist movement, both the Sephardic and the Palestinians felt hurt by the Zionist movement. So they could, bridge and they could find something in common. So you asked me how I started, and it was because of the Arabic language, and but then when I started researching the film, and I started researching Kochava Levi, and then from all the people who are now old but remember the event or were soldiers or cops in the event, I realized that, everybody think of her as a prostitute. I said, well, it's even, not less important than telling everybody, go and learn Arabic. It's really important to clear the name of this woman. And another theme in this film that I started talking about it, how naive I was. And, there was like this opportunity in the 70s when the PLO was not a religious movement. The PLO was a democratic movement. It was not religious. And it's like thinking, wow, maybe we missed an opportunity to solve the conflict, and like 50 years later, here we are, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. That today, I can't even imagine, solving the conflict. But when I was making the film at 2019, 2020, I saw the film also, this so-called love story between Kochava and the Golden Teeth, Shen Zahav, as like, like a metaphor for the possibility of us, Jews, Israelis, and Palestinians living together, going to the Messick together. And so it's and then, you have in this film the fantasy that she's like fantasizing how she's going to be in the Messick, and soon after, like a war breaks in this small world. And it's sad, that I still I still wish, we could solve conflicts without guns and wars. And it seems to be like there is no way to solve conflicts. without using weapon. So I mean, and you don't solve the conflict when you use weapon in war.
For sure, only
Yeah,
escalates it.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and this was definitely one of the films that's seen its pre-October 7th and post-October 7th. A lot has
yeah.
changed. And in some ways, I want to treat it as the naive, it was a beautiful naivete of the pre-October 7th approach. But one of the things that I think is a little bit revolutionary in this film is how the Palestinian, I'll call them terrorists in this film, are portrayed. That this is not I mean, sure, this is a story, and Israel has unfortunately in its history too many of these stories of attacks with people killed and tragedies. um, but what's amazing about this is that you actually give some time to give a face to the people. It's not just masked people who come in and, we either win or lose. You actually show them as people, and even, as you put it, possibly a love interest. Um, and can you tell us a little bit about that decision, and why you decided to choose to portray
Okay,
them in
so
that way?
so first, I want to tell you again, it's hard not to talk about the before October 7 and after, but I made another film, and maybe you would present it next year. It's about Rachel and the cookies. Rachel from
Okay.
Ofakim, you remember? There is this woman who she lives in Ofakim, and the terrorists came to her house, and she gave them coffee and cookies, and she cooked for them, and she put bandages on one of the wounded terrorists, and she saved her life that way. They didn't kill her, they didn't do anything to her. And also she kind of manipulate between there were police outside, and very similar story to Kochava Levi. And obviously, I was asked by Can 11, that is the broadcaster of Savoy also, to make a film about Rachel from Ofakim. And I did this film. It came out different, but very similar, because it's like these two women, they followed like exactly the same protocol. It's very interesting. But it's the same broadcaster, okay? And now the broadcaster, they told me, don't you even dare thinking about humanizing the terrorists, giving them names, giving them faces, or even letting them talk, because we are in another era, and the Israeli audience would not tolerate such a thing. So I found other ways to show them not as clear monsters, because I think specifically also in Kochava's case and also in Rachel's case, they came into her house and there was like a magic in there that she made them feel like home, and she gave them cookies and cakes, and it's like they came to kill her or to kidnap her. You're gonna have to see the film.
Yep.
So so there was a human connection, and I could not dehumanize them, even though I got from above, like from the broadcaster, such a, suggestion. But I came out of this. But so then when I did Savoy, I still believe that everyone has his own narration, it's like his own narrative. Like each of us has a story. It's like if you fight with your friend, you should hear also your friend. I'm sorry, the phone is ringing. I turn it off or I ignore it.
We don't hear it.
Great. Wow. Okay. So if you have a fight with your friend and you want to resolve the situation, it won't help you to know just your side. You need to know both sides. You need to know both stories, because each one of the sides, for example, in this Palestinian Israeli conflict, grew up on a narrative. And, and these people, the terrorists that came to Savoy Hotel, they are the sons of people that were evacuated or ran away, depends how you want to see it, but from their homes, because the Kochava said that when she asked them, where are you from? They said, we are from Beersheba, for example, because their parents were immigrants living that time in Lebanon. In the 70s, they were living in Lebanon or in Jordan, but they saw themselves not as immigrants, as no, plitim, as
Refugees.
as refugees. And when you are a refugee, and then somebody asks you where you come from, you don't say the place. So it's really important to know the narrative because people don't fight without reason. That's why in Israel we have this term mechabel, and mechabel is from the chabala. Chabala is like causing damage.
Hmm.
And and I don't like so much this term because like if you say mechabel, it means somebody who wants to cause damage, but he doesn't have any reason for that. It just for the sheer of vandalism, for the sheer of making damage. So no, they have stories. They have stories, and we have to listen to the stories. So that was the point of making them human. But also, this is a film from the point of view of Kochava. And
Hmm.
Kochava was inside the hotel. So I wanted to show what she felt, what she saw, that's what she was writing about. She was not writing, or she didn't see the soldiers or the brave soldiers. Few of them died, that risked their lives and died to save her. They are also, very important people, but she didn't see them. It's not important for the story. The story is how she saw people. And there was this sentence of her that she said after. She said, I didn't see them as monsters who came to kill me. I saw them as human beings.
Yeah.
So that's why I was humanizing them, but it's not, I don't know if it's the right word to say humanizing, but anyway, it's true that it's the first Israeli film, that is doing this, like giving names and more to the terrorists. And I must say that I was a little afraid, even in the world of pre-October 7th. And I was afraid, also some of the soldiers that were invading, rescuing her, who are now all, they came to the premiere, to the screening of Savoy, and I was kind of worried that they're going to get mad. And what was so surprising in this film, and I showed it in so many places in Israel, that even if you are right wing or left wing, you got so much carried away by the story of Kochava and her uniqueness and her beauty and the beauty of her writing, that you and of course the shaming and what was done to her, that you completely forgot about like the creator, the director agenda that wanted to put some emphasis on the Palestinian side of the story. People just didn't pay attention to it. They're just so much, they're crying and getting carried away. So it's nice because
Um,
she's so much, she's touching, and what happened to her, the העוולה שעשו לה,
the way she was treated badly, yeah,
the shaming that
the
she
shaming.
went through. So people really feel so sad about it, that she's such a hero, and she was disrespected that way. Yeah.
Did you learn anything more after the film came out about her life, about
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always like this. For example, her daughter, Osnat, it happened when Osnat was 8 years old, so she kind of, she's her only daughter, and she remember things. And she clearly remembered the shaming that her mother was going through, and that's why until this very day, and her mother died already, she's very suspicious towards the media. And when I met her the first time, uh, luckily she knew my previous films, my first films, and she liked my first films. So she agreed to meet me, and she told me, listen, I'm not going to stop you because, I saw your films, you look like a nice person, but I don't want to be involved and I'm not going to help you with anything. I'm just, don't ask me because I asked her. I know her mother was she was painting. She after the attack, she was painting a lot, and I wanted to see painting. I wanted to see more diaries. And she said, no, don't ask me. And she was very suspicious. And I said to her, okay, I'm going to work on the film. And slowly, and I showed her every now and there things. And she softened and softened. But then at the end, only after the film came out and she realized how much it changed the public view of her mother. And even, after the film, they named the street after Kochava.
Hmm.
Then one day she called me and she said, I want to show you different things that I have that my mother wrote, you know? And then she showed me such a nice, like, memoir, short story, I don't know how to call it, that she's telling Kochava how she, after the event, she decided that she want to print her poems, and she sued the Time magazine for writing on her that she's a prostitute, and
Hmm.
she won. She won some money.
Nice.
Yeah, she won some money. She even bought a very small apartment in this money, and also she published a book of poems, okay? Like an individual, like self,
Self-published, yeah.
exactly. And then, every year we have in Israel a market for books.
Hmm.
It's called the
Shavua
week of,
Sefer, yeah.
exactly, Shavua
We,
Sefer.
yeah.
So Kochava is writing that she's going to Shavua Sefer, and she has like this little, table, and she put the books. And at the beginning, she's very excited, and all the, the city lights and this. And all of a sudden, she starts seeing people crowding around her table. And they're saying, look, a prostitute, a prostitute, a prostitute who's writing poems. Wow, a prostitute. And
Wow.
they're kind of mocking her. And she's writing this experience, and it's like amazing and very touching. So this is something, for example, that I was exposed to only after the film came out, because only then the daughter really trusted me to show me such things. So it's something that I learned. I also learned after the daughter told me that the mother and her, they were very poor, and they went to, because she got divorced after 4 years, and they went to live in Bet She'an. And she told me, my mother and I, we didn't have money at all. We only have money for cigarettes because she was a heavy smoker, and bread. That's it. And they were living, the two of them, very poorly.
Mm.
So yeah, she didn't have like a good ending in her life. That's the tragedy that she died without having the recognition of a heroine.
Um, Zara, there's so much more to discuss, but I
Yeah.
really want to thank you for your time here with us and for sharing and for bringing this film and really giving it such depth and perspective. And everything you said here was really, really, I think, a lot of what we were thinking about when we programmed this film. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and hopefully I come next festival,
Next time
and
in person.
yeah, and hopefully you will screen the film Rachel, that we call it in English, Cookies for Life.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.